When I enrolled in NYU, I wanted to get a degree in production. I wanted to produce Broadway shows. And my first class was an 8 o'clock line producing class with the most boring professor. My next class that I registered for was a journalism class. How, what, when, why, and where. And I really loved it. And I got my degree eventually in broadcast journalism instead of producing shows in production. And I really loved it. But by the time I graduated, I was really older, and nobody was hiring me to be on TV. I wanted to do TV. And so I had to think about something else. I ended up really going to work with my dad in our real estate business for a long time. But while I was doing that, I was doing photography. I was photographing my kids for so many years while they were young. And I loved it. And I was in a movie. I was still pursuing an acting career, and I had a small part in a movie, Next Stop Greenwich Village. And I was pregnant, and they wanted a pregnant woman. And I met a woman whose daughter was in the movie and told me that she had a friend, Erica Stone, who was a photographer and loved to photograph pregnant women and children. So I met Erica, and she photographed me and my older daughter, and then she photographed me with my 2 daughters. One of the photographs that she took of me with my daughter was I was pregnant, and my daughter was resting her head on my big belly. And when Danielle was in 9th grade in her biology class, she turned the page of her biology book, and there was that little girl, resting on my belly. Because Erica Stone sold the photographs. She gave me photographs, and she sold the photographs that she took. And she sold it to this company that made this biology book, and there was my daughter, and me. So she was so upset. But Erica really was a big influence in my life, because I was using a point-and-shoot camera, and Erica had this beautiful photography equipment. She was using Nikon equipment. And then my sister came over one day with a Canon camera that she bought, and I went out and bought the same Canon camera, and I've been using Canon ever since. But getting back to school, what stuck with me, I guess the answer is that I loved writing, and I always loved broadcast journalism, and I am comfortable in front of the camera, and I enjoy it. And I wrote a book on my late husband, Senator Frank Lautenberg. So I used my journalism degree finally to write this book, which is coming out in October. So I'm very excited. And I have another story to tell you about the book. So last week, I received a letter in the mail from my late husband, Senator Frank Lautenberg, was in the United States Senate for 28 years. And he passed away almost 10 years ago, 9.5 years ago. And I received a letter from the Sergeant at Arms of the United States Senate. And they asked me if I wanted his chair that he sat on in the Senate. It's been in storage for 9.5 years. And I didn't even know I could have the chair, but I was so excited to get this letter that I immediately wrote back, yes, I would love the chair, and I will send you a check, which I did, and we arranged. The chair that he sat on was only $150, to buy this beautiful chair. And the crating and the FedEx cost much more to get it to my apartment. But I'm thrilled to have it. And this chair is going to be at the beginning of the book now, and it's a metaphor for Frank's life. And he had an extraordinary life. And I just feel like a little part of him came home with this chair, because he sat on this chair in the Senate for 28 years. And the story about it is very interesting, because when somebody's elected to the Senate, they make the chair in the workshop of the Sergeant at Arms. And then when the person is sworn in and they're in the Senate, they have their chair, and it has their gold plate with their name on the back. And it's just very special. So it's a great story that I'm happy to share with you, and it will be in the book.